Welcome back to DaveStation. Here on the Chorizo Machine YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about our top 5 games consoles of all time. And I say we because you know I'm going to introduce. I refer to him as the CEO. He's the main man. It's Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
Oh, I'm good, mate. That was a fantastic introduction. You're nailing these introductions. Yeah, I'm really excited for this episode, and I don't know about you, mate, but coming up with my top 5, I changed a few of them around a million times, but I've got there. I've got my top 5. So I always start with mine. I think you should start. What's yours, mate? What's yours at number 5? And then obviously we'll work up to number 1, which will be our favourite. So yeah, start at the bottom with number 5.
Let's go for it. So Dave's number 5 is the Super Nintendo from Nintendo that was released all those years ago here in the UK, I think in 1992, Japan in 1990. And what do I need to say about the Super Nintendo that hasn't already been said a million times? It's just such an amazing console, some great games, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, the Street Fighter games that came out on it. Such an amazing console. The controller was also a controller that I really liked. It was fantastic with those 4 action buttons, the shoulder buttons, but also the sound, the music chip in the Super NES. Some of the music that you got from that system was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and don't forget, mate, Mode 7.
Mode 7. How can I forget that with games like F-Zero?
Yeah, it's a fantastic console. I think it's going to be in most people's top 5s, some people's top 3s. With the SNES, it's the library of games as well. What I think we should do with this video, and this has just come to me now, guys. This is what we do. We should think of a favourite game on every of the 5 systems. If you can't think of one, because obviously I've just put you on the spot, it's fine. But I think with that choice, we should always say then, and my favourite game on this console is... So, Dave?
My favourite game on the Super Nintendo is Super Mario Kart.
Oh, good choice.
Absolutely love Super Mario Kart. What a great game. And
is it Super Mario Kart or Mario Kart?
It's Super Mario Kart on that one, on the Super NES.
I thought it was just called Mario Kart. I don't know why.
Not on the SNES. Yeah, not on the SNES. Mario Kart 64, which maybe we'll come on to later on, that was just referred to as Mario Kart.
I would hazard a guess neither of us have got the N64 in our top 5. Dave's laughing. Just guessing there. So we might not get to Mario Kart 64. Anyway, in a number 5 for me. Oh, this was painful putting it at 5. I'm going to get so many people hitting the thumbs down. They're like, how is this number 5? This should be like number 2 or number 1. This should be your favourite console. How dare you? But it's still in the top 5, and it's the PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay.
And the PS2, it started high up in my list, guys, but I had to drop it down because my memories with the PS2 are very good ones, but it's just PES. It was a PES machine, basically. And I didn't really experience a lot of the other library of games until recent years when it comes to the PS2. And I do appreciate it as a console. It's a fantastic console. My favourite game on the PS2, and it's not going to surprise Dave, it's not going to surprise anyone, and it is Pro Evolution Soccer 5. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that was your number 5?
That was my number 5.
Excellent. Okay, so on to Dave's number 4, and it is absolutely, definitely not the N64. It is the Sony PlayStation 2. Yes, number 4 is the PlayStation 2 for me. Okay. Essentially echoing what Mike said. PES. I played pretty much every iteration of PES on it. I absolutely loved Gran Turismo 3. I thought that was a great game on there. And also GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. I played the living daylights out of those on the PS2 as well. And I used it as my first DVD player because it was capable of playing DVD videos, which was awesome. Great system. Love the controller. Yeah, what more can I say about the PS2 that hasn't already been said? What a great machine.
See, you forgot about the Mode 7, and I completely forgot about the DVD player, because because seriously, it does score a lot of points for that, because that PS2 was my DVD player for years when I'd moved out from my parents. That was my DVD player.
Yeah, I almost forgot my favourite game, as you introduced earlier on, would be Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. That game... just absolutely fantastic. Love it. Still play it to this very day. It's one of the best Gran Turismo games, in my opinion, full stop.
That's the Gran Turismo I had bundled with my PS2, I think.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I remember us talking about it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superb racer. Really cool. And also the GTA games, good shout out,
Yes.
because they were, the games that I spent a lot of time with, those and pairs on the PS2. But my number 4 is, and this won't surprise Dave, and it won't surprise anyone really, but some people again may argue this should be higher up the list, but it's subjective, isn't it? So, and it is the SNES, because the SNES is awesome. The library of games, we've just talked about it, and Super Mario World was a game I thought was decent, but it didn't blow me away. The rest of the library of games that came later on blew me away, and my favourite ever game on the SNES is Shadowrun.
Oh, okay. That's a good game, that one. You introduced me to that.
Oh, it's a fantastic game. Still good to this day. But yeah, SNES at number 4. Dave, what's number 3?
Back to me for number 3. Now, this is going to be different to previous conversations we've had. So, in at number 3 for me is the Sega Mega Drive. Yes, Sega's 16-bit console from the late 80s going into the early 90s.
Yeah.
Great system. Absolutely fantastic system. The library of games, I know we've just said that about the SNES, but it applies to the Mega Drive as well, because there were so many good games. Some really good Sega arcade games got ported to the home system. For instance, games like Golden Axe, Shinobi, there was Super Monaco GP, Super Hang-On. They were games I really enjoyed. And the Sonic games. I love the Sonic games on the Mega Drive. Favourite game, easily by a long stretch on the Mega Drive, Streets of Rage 2.
And mine, yeah. I'm glad you said that. That's my favourite game, and closely followed by Sonic 2, probably.
Yeah, Sonic 2 would be the close second for me as well.
That's a nice choice. Number 3. The Mega Drive just missed out on my top 5, guys. You're not going to see it. It doesn't mean I don't love it, because I do. It's a fantastic console, and it's an honourable mention for me, I would say. But in at number 3 for me, this was hard. I keep saying this. This was at number 1, then it went to number 2, then it went back to number 1, and then it ended on number 3. And I will reveal why, guys, as we get to it. But yeah, number 3 is the Sony PlayStation, the first PS1, because everyone needs to have the PS1 in their top 10 consoles of all time, or top 5. I don't really know what to say, guys, that hasn't been said on this channel before about the PS1. Tons of memories. It is still to this day a console that got a lot of love and affection. I know you have as well, Dave. And if I had to give my favourite game for the PS1, I don't think I can, because I can't think. No, it's hard. It's either F1, 97, or Resident Evil. I don't know. I don't know. They're both incredible. Or Resident Evil 2. I don't know. I have to say one out of those 3. I have to say one, don't I? I'm going to say F1. That F1 game was astonishing. I spent so much time on that F1 game. And yeah, the PlayStation, Sony PlayStation, incredible. Deserves its place at number 3. Dave?
Over to Dave for number 2 then. Now my number 2 is going to be the Xbox 360 from Microsoft that was released all the way back in 2005. This system was, for me, the first high-definition system, because it came out at that time when HD was becoming a big thing. The system was always online. I absolutely loved the fact that it was always online. Xbox Live, you could see what your friends were up to. You could have a voice chat with them. We used the 360 heavily back in the day to play online games. And that's the reason I chose it at number 2, was because the online experience was amazing. Staying up until the silly hours of the morning playing GTA 4 with Mike, playing Project Gotham Racing 4, playing whichever FIFA game we were playing at the time, whatever that was. The Xbox 360 just had a game for everyone. It didn't matter who you were, there was a game that you could play on that system. Gears of War is another example, Forza Motorsport. My list could go on. The 360, great system, ignore the hardware errors. Favourite game for the Xbox 360 was Grand Theft Auto 4.
No, it's a good call, mate. And
yeah,
the way you described everything when it came to the 360 and the scene at the time. Amazing times.
Yeah.
At Xbox Live worked flawlessly. We had achievements, I think, for the first time. As we saw that kind of thing. And the PS3, the rivalry, it was... when both consoles or developers got to grips with both of those consoles, the games we had coming out were just they were bangers, weren't they? Time after time, banger after banger. FIFA was at its best around that time as well on the 360 and PS3. So they were great memories. It's a good call, mate. My number 2, completely different to Dave's, is the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And it's at 2. It's higher up than the SNES, as you may have noticed, guys. Is memories. This is pure nostalgia for me. The NES was my first experience with a gaming console. I say kind of because the first experience with a gaming console for me was the Atari 2600, which I owned before it, which I thought was okay. But the NES is where I first played Mario. It's where I really kind of got into gaming, and I was like, yeah, this is my hobby. I belong here. And there's not a lot more to be said about the NES. Everyone knows about it. Incredible library of games. Some of them still play so well today. Yeah, they've aged graphically, but my favourite game on the NES is obvious because you all know what it's going to be. It's Super Mario Bros. 3. But also very close is Mega Man 2, because that game, those two games were everything to me on the NES. Just an incredible console. Over to you, Dave.
Just before I go for my number 1, Mega Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3 define the NES for me. Great choice, by the way, Mike, for number 2. And those two games are absolutely outstanding. And if you somehow have not played those games, get on with it. Play them. Find a way of playing them because they are so, so good. They're worth giving a shout. So here we go. Number 1. Number 1 for Dave. Drum roll. It is the Sony PlayStation. Yes, the original Sony PlayStation that you heard on Mike's list. For similar reasons, we had some great games. It was the first console that I had that used CDs, because up to that point we were used to cartridges with the NES, the Super NES, Mega Drive, etc. And the fact that Nintendo with the N64 went with cartridges, which I always thought was a bit of a strange one. There were so many great games, I could be here all night naming them, but some of my highlights were games like Gran Turismo, the original GTA and the London expansion pack, Die Hard Trilogy, Alien Trilogy, Ridge Racer Revolution, Ridge Racer Type 4. It could go on and on and on. But my favourite game on the PlayStation, the disc that spent the most hours inside my console, Mike, was International Superstar Soccer Pro Evolution.
Oh, what a game. What a game. What a console. It was just incredible, wasn't it? It was when, I always say this, but it's when gaming became cool. It was like kind of accepted that people had gaming consoles. You weren't classed as that kind of nerd who just sits in his room on his own and he's got no friends anymore. Like, you'd see PlayStations at parties and at nightclubs and things like that. It's just like, that is when gaming became cool. Sony nailed it. The marketing, the actual technology. If you had to say a game that's not a football game, that's your favourite game on the PS1, only because I'm interested.
If I had to say a game that wasn't a football game, then it would probably be Gran Turismo, because the first Gran Turismo game absolutely blew my mind. It was so good at the time.
I've never played it. I always say this
so
to
good.
you. We need to feature that on Old School. I've never played Gran Turismo, the original. Never played it.
Yeah, great game.
It's a good call for number 1. It doesn't surprise me at all. I kind of knew you'd go with the PS1. I think Dave's going to know what my number 1 is. And it
I think so.
It is the Nintendo Virtual Boy. No.
I love it.
I got you there,
That's a good
Dave.
choice. That's a good choice.
I've never played
I know
one.
What it is.
Oh, go on.
I know what it is.
Go
it's
on.
the Nintendo GameCube. Oh, maybe
Hey!
not. The C-Stick.
No, being serious, guys, it's the N64. I'm kidding. We will get there. I'm going to leave all this in. I'm not going to edit it out. I know we're being really annoying. We're just making ourselves laugh. I'm sure there's someone out there laughing. There's someone at the back laughing. I can hear him. Number 1, drum roll. That sounds more like someone drilling outside my house. Number 1 is the Xbox 360.
Oh, 360. Here we go.
I nearly just said Xbox and left it. The original Xbox is cool. Super cool. The Xbox 360, for all the reasons Dave has already given, but the Xbox 360 is where Dave and I did a lot of very, very late night gaming. It's got tons of memories for me, and it's just an incredible console. again, with a lot of memories, but with a lot of good video games, a lot of good FIFA games. PES, not so much. But just how well and how seamless party chat worked, inviting your friend into a party chat and getting online with friends and all that kind of stuff. My favourite game on the Xbox 360 is Project Gotham Racing 3, either 3 or 4.
Yeah, Team Red versus Team Blue. Loved it.
Yeah, 4. So let's go Project Gotham Racing 4 as my favourite game on the Xbox 360. Honourable mention as well to Grand Theft Auto 4 Cops and Crooks mode online was just incredible. Really good single player as well. I actually prefer the single player in GTA 4 to GTA 5 single player.
Yeah, same for me.
It stood the test of time, that game. I went back to it recently. But anyway, yeah, mine's the Xbox 360. Dave's is a Sony PlayStation. Honourable mention, mate. Have one honourable mention.
One honourable mention for me has to be 110% the original Xbox, because that system turned my head. At the time, I was a PlayStation 2 player. I would love the PS2, I had one. And when a friend of mine said, oh, I've got this Microsoft thing, this Xbox, and I played it round his house, forgetting the original controller because it was terrible, but when the controller S came out, I loved it. Great system. To be able to put your own soundtracks on it to use in-game as well, I absolutely loved them. What an amazing system that console was. And also, Xbox Live. Need I say more?
Yeah, I agree. I actually traded my PS2. I had that silver PS2. Remember that?
I remember that, yep.
I traded that for an Xbox because the guy in DaveStation, rest in peace DaveStation, I used to love that store, said, I was like, look, I want to get online with my PS2 because I just had NTL cable installed, guys, which is now known as Virgin Media, in my flat. And I was like, I want to get online and start doing some online gaming. And he was like, nah, you want to do that with Xbox, not PS2. So I traded it. And I got that Xbox Live starter kit. Who remembers that? With a little headset and CD.
I had that with a demo disc as well.
I spent a lot of time with that. Honourable mention for me, though, because I haven't had a Sega console in my list, has to be the Mega Drive. I just never owned any Sega consoles as a kid. I was a Nintendo kid. I had NES, SNES, and Game Boy, but never a Sega console. And that is also a console I've gone back to in recent times, and I adore it. There's so many good Mega Drive games, and so the Mega Drive would get honourable mention on my list. But anyway, Dave.
Yep, that's been an absolutely fantastic list. We've talked about some amazing consoles, some amazing games. And just one final thing, we're not console fanboys. Even back in the day, when it was you were Sega or Nintendo, I liked and respected both. So I played both systems. Mike, I know, was exactly the same. But it's been really interesting to talk about these systems and these great games. I want to thank Mike for having me again on DaveStation. And I want to hear what you've got to say. So in the comments below, what were your favourite systems? What was your favourite games for those systems? And tell us your experiences. Why was that the case? Thanks for watching, everyone.